Hello and welcome to this video on finding the next terms of a quadratic sequence. So in this question here we're asked to find the next two terms of the sequence. So the first thing we do is look for the differences between each of the numbers of the sequence. Now ordinarily these numbers would form a repeating pattern, so it might be plus 4, plus 10, take away 2, something like that. Let's see what happens with this sequence. So to get from 6 to 15 we add on 9. 15 to 28, we add on 13, 28 to 45, that's add 17. So in this sequence, it hasn't formed in the way we normally expect. These numbers here aren't the same, so there isn't a repeating pattern. And that's because it's a quadratic sequence, not a regular linear sequence. What we do when we're faced with a quadratic sequence is we check the differences again. So the difference between these blue numbers will form another sequence, and that is called the second difference. So to get from 9 to 13, you add on 4. To get from 13 to 17, you add on 4. Now you'll notice that with a quadratic sequence, the second difference forms a repeating pattern. So it's add 4 every time. So I can add in more of these second differences, add 4, and add 4. And this will help me complete my sequence. So I can go back to the first differences now, and I know that 17 add 4 will give me the number that I then need to add to 45 to complete this term of the sequence. So 17 add 4 is 21, and then 21 add 4 is 25. So what I need to do to get from 45 to the next number is add on 21, and I found that because the second difference was always 4. So if I go back to the original sequence, then 45 add 21 is 66, and then 66 add 25 is 91. So when working with a quadratic sequence, the first differences won't be the same, but they will form a pattern which gives you a second difference which is the same, and you can use this second difference to work backwards and complete the sequence. Let's have a look at a second example then. So this one here, again I'll work out my first line of differences. So this one's add 13, this one is add 21, this one is add 29, and these two I don't yet know until I work out my second differences. So this one here is add on 8, this one here is also add on 8. So the second difference must be add 8 every time. So if I add 8 to this, and then add 8 to the next one, I'll get my next two numbers. So let's go back to blue. 29 add 8, that's 37, and 37 add 8, that's a plus 45. So I can now go 63, add the 37, and that gives me a nice round 100, and then 100 add 45 is 145. So here are two quadratic sequences for you to have a go at. Press pause, have a go at these yourselves, and then when you want the answers, press play again and I'll tell you what they were. Okay, here are the answers then. For this first one we add on 7, and this one here we add on 13, this one here is add on 19, and so the second differences are adding on 6 each time. So 6, add 6. So if I add 6 to this, I get 25. If I add 6 to that, I get 31. So if I add 25 to this, I get 66, which was one of the answers. And then add 31 to that, you end up with 97. This next sequence, we add 4, then we add 8, then we add 12. So these are add 4 and add 4. So if we add 4 to 12, you get plus 16. Add 4 to this, you get plus 20. So if we add 16 to this, we get 43. And then add 20 to that, we get 63.